it's me, GhostCritic. It's Friday and I've got some comics to review for you. So we're going to kick off because I said I wasn't sure whether I was going to review them, so I'll be very quick with these two because one of them, everyone's talked to death about it already, and the other one I actually haven't heard a lot of people talk about, but from Boom Studios, issue 1, The Woods, and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I picked this up now, and this is certainly going on my pull list because I certainly want to know more of what the hell is going on here. When I first started reading it, I kind of got a Morning Glories vibe from it because it starts off set in a school and you're introduced to all these different characters, and you know, you've got your jocks, your nerds, your goths, or you know, the cliques of the school ground. And then it just went in a completely different direction. The premise of it, as a kind of overview, there is this blinding white light, and they find themselves transported, the whole school, everybody that's inside the school, on another planet. And it's not like a slow build up, it's like bam, you're right into the action. You have these crazy kind of multi-winged bat-like creatures clawing, trying to get into the school, trying to get at all the kids and the teachers inside. You already have this kind of core band of characters who are coming together, and they are realising that being inside the school is not the best idea. These crazy creatures that inhabit this planet are getting in and they're kind of basically eating us all. So we have our core band of characters and they're going to head into the woods. It has the whole kind of sci-fi vibe, it's got a bit of horror vibe, and like I said, it's got that little bit of kind of Morning Glories, school, breakfast club type vibe with it as well. Really enjoyed this book. The artwork is fun, it's bold, it's colourful. I'm intrigued to know where this is going to go. This, of course, Southern Bastards, Jason Aaron and Jason Latour. I didn't hate it, and I thought I would. And it has the reasons for it inside that I thought I wouldn't like it. It has that extreme violence in here. It has, you know, the heavy expletive language in it. But what Aaron and Latour have done is they have completely and utterly evoked what I think like a southern small town actually is. I can believe everything that goes on in this issue could and probably has already happened in real life, and that's kind of scary in a way as well. It builds up on this one character who's been away for 40 odd years, coming home to his birthplace to kind of wrap up the estate that his uncle's been living in, and within a day he's already in like huge amounts of trouble. So yeah, just a very kind of intense read. It kind of had kind of shades of True Detective. If you watch that TV series, I kind of felt a little bit of the vibe going on there, obviously without the cops and the TV detective type of angle, but it kind of had that vibe for me to it. I don't know if I will pick this up in singles. I may wait for the trade on this one. Fables issue 140, and we have Briar Rose going back to the homelands with her kind of crew of fellow Fables. They're off to Beaban Sith to kill a witch. I'm not quite sure why, apart from the fact that she's a witch, so she's evil. But there is a ton of fun and excitement and action in this issue. There's kind of lots of sword and sorcery battles. There's hellish hounds. There's rampaging giants. And in all that, there's a lot of humour in here from our character Puss in Boots that keeps kind of doing all these fake death scenes. And it at first, when I read it, I was kind of like, that was quite an odd issue, because although there was a lot of action in there and everything was moving along very fast, there didn't seem to be that much in the way of a story. There are some bits in here that you worry for Briar Rose after one of her battles, but you kind of go, well, what did all that really achieve? And it's not until the end of the issue where Bill Willingham just slips in a very small conversation, and you kind of go, well, yeah, of course this has got to happen now. And we're going all the way back to issue 1. The whole point that the Fables came over into our world and built Fabletown was they were escaping from the adversary, and they had to leave their homelands. Well, the adversary has been defeated for many of an issue, so there really is no reason for them not to be going back home now. And it was just the way Bill just dropped that in, and it was just made the issue. And it just never occurred to me that this could be the kind of build-up to the end of this series, is that all our fables that we've loved and enjoyed over what will be a 150 issue run go back home. It's Batman Eternal time. Yes, it's another weekly look at this series, and I just want to kind of first off go and talk about the cover to this issue. Just get my fingers out of the way so you can see what I'm going to be talking about. There definitely is a very kind of supernatural vibe to this issue, and for once it does kind of give you a hint to what is going to be going on inside the book for a change. There's an interesting little kind of red herring teaser on the front. The title is "A Spectre Lurks in the Shadow of Arkham." There is a spectre, but it's not our spectre, though Jim Corrigan certainly is sharing the limelight in this issue, and there are a lot of introductions to characters in this issue. Not least we have Batwing, there's a cameo from the Gentleman Ghost, we've got the Joker's daughter in there, who else? Like I said, there's Jim Corrigan, but there's no Spectre. It's not our Spectre, though he does show off his kind of mystical, supernatural kind of powers. Now, it's kind of, I don't know much about Batwing. I've never read a Batwing title, but this is very much his issue to show his character. And at the behest of Batman, he teams up basically Batwing and Jim Corrigan, aka the Spectre, to go and find out what is going on at Arkham Asylum. And given I don't know much about Batwing, I can still see this interesting coupling. Batwing is very much the kind of science, technological guy, while obviously Jim Corrigan, Spectre, is the mystical, kind of magical side of our Batman universe. So while the actual team up between them, they don't do a lot, they have a kind of lengthy conversation with each other. We kind of stop short of them getting into Arkham Asylum and working, we hope, as a team. So this is more of a setup, which I hope Snyder and Tynion don't wait too long to move on with. The Spectre that they're talking about, on the title of this appears to be Deacon Blackfire. He's roaming around the basement of Arkham, seemingly aimlessly, kind of marking walls and steam pipes and the like with his radiation or whatever it is he's got there. And also down in the depths of Arkham is the Joker's daughter. And with the help of kind of a rather unscrupulous doctor who is leading inmates of Arkham down to the basement to basically get chopped up into little pieces. You kind of, at this point, you're kind of getting this, a lot more of this kind of supernatural, almost prophecy vibe. It's like this Dr. Phosphorus knows something. He can't quite put his finger on it. He knows something's coming. The Joker's daughter knows something is coming, and she's hoping to use these inmates to solve this kind of ominous future that is upon Arkham Asylum. It's very interesting. The appearance of Joker's daughter is kind of over the top. But it's still a whole lot of fun. Now, what I am finding, because people that I talk with about this and who do other reviews on Batman Eternal, we do talk about the kind of flow of this title from issue to issue. And now I'm getting to the point now that I'm feeling that Snyder and Tynion are basically just doing kind of stand-alone stories for these first run-up issues. Hopefully these will all kind of coalesce into the larger story of Batman Eternal that's going on. But at the moment, I get the impression that what Snyder and Tynion are wanting to do is introduce you to all the players that are taking part in this series. And they're kind of getting that all out of the way now by introducing so many characters. There is a slight plot progression here, but we see very little of Batman doing anything. I still kind of get, and I kind of got this very early on, it very much feels like this book, Batman Nightfall, where Batman is going to be kind of stretched. The only difference here, fortunately, is that while in Batman Nightfall, Batman didn't really want any help or ask for any help. This was his gauntlet that he had to get through and was obviously led to his ultimate defeat. At least in this series, he is asking and getting the help of the larger kind of Bat universe and the DC comic book universe as a whole. But still, there are elements I'm personally feeling of that earlier series. It still has, and Sleepy Reader 666 mentioned this in one of his last videos, there is this soap opera-esque nature to this title, and that isn't so much a bad thing as long as they keep all these threads, keep hold of them tightly and make sure none goes adrift and are forgotten about. We move on to issue 12 of the oh so stylish Astro City. I'm always so impressed when a writer can manage to allow the reader to kind of sympathise with the villain of the piece, and the very talented Kurt Busiek does such a job in this another standalone issue. We centre on a villain this time in the shape of Ned, the Gentleman Bandit. And we kind of get his story growing up. We have him as a child, obviously from a very poor background, hand-me-down clothes, mocked and ridiculed at school for it, and then further on through his life, you know, he sees all these very posh, rich people in their kind of fine suits, and he wants to be that person, but it's a life he will never have until a kind of chance encounter starts him off on a life of crime. But it's a life of crime with style, harmonies, spiffy outfits. Yes. So we have this character who robs banks. He's not superpowered at all. This is him joining many a gang, but the gangs always have this kind of theme where they all are dressed very well, and they're very theatric about their robberies, their villainous ways. And in the start of this, he meets the kind of love of his life, who ends up being his wife. But of course, all this good luck and all these robberies cannot go unnoticed, and eventually a hero comes in to put a stop to it. And Ned meets his first kind of like visit to jail, hoping his wife will wait for him while he does the time. He comes back out to find out he's going to have himself a daughter, so he wants to get back on the straight and narrow. And he kind of gradually builds a career up to where he's kind of like a maitre d'. He still gets to wear these kind of fine suits, but something is obviously missing, and that is the danger of his villainous ways. And although he's promised his wife and obviously his daughter that he won't go back to a life of crime, he gets sucked back in, and again we have him being caught by another hero. And again, this, if you're a long time reader of Astro City, this is especially a nice issue to pick up, because you do get a couple of cameos from old characters from previous volumes. So yeah, a great lot of fun. A new artist in the shape of Graham Nolan, who does a very fine job on this, making our villain look very spiffy in all his finery. Just a really kind of fun look at crime, but at the same time you feel so sorry for this guy, because all he really wants to do is to be able to afford to look good, like we all do, and have some of the finer things in life. Right, we're going to finish off this week's stack of comics with issue 2 of Image's new title, Shutter, from Joe Katinge and Leila Del Duca. And this book was certainly packed to the brim of crazy antics, but I have to say, is it too much? Has there been the introduction of too many kind of bizarre and outlandish concepts that can fit in one issue? And when I first read it, it was just like, my God, what the hell is going on here? It was just bam, 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 every single page. And it is, the funny thing is, maybe this is the reason. I mean, we complain when adverts kind of get stuck in the middle of pages and it kind of breaks that flow up. Not so this, because from the very first, when you turn over the very first page, the story starts right here and it goes all the way through. You get no breaks for adverts, you just get pure comic panels all the way through. But every single page you have practically something new, interesting concepts, as they are, but there's so much that it's almost like an overload of the senses, and by the end of it you kind of feel, well, what just happened? So like the first page you've got your kind of cat clock, in the second page you've got this huge kind of glutinous globular bird, big as a house, going down a main street. You have these kind of hovercraft NYPD police cars. Our main character encased in this crystal, which is inside the big kind of chicken thing. Then this car zooms across to the side of it and it's full of like these gang members, and you think, well, that's all right, but all these gang members are lions. You go on to the next page and you have the introduction again, or the reintroduction of all those kind of ghostly ninja, purple ghosts. There's these mice that can talk on the next page that are doing something with a crystal that has got our character encased in it. Let's see what's new on the next page. They all go inside to have a big fight. There's a huge explosion. Our main character just escapes, and we're only like maybe like 6 or 7 pages in, and I'm like breathless already. It kind of slows down a little bit then to go back to a kind of flashback of when she was younger, and clearly a setup for a future plot line that is kind of alluded to further on in the book. And this is the request by the little girl to her father that she wants a sibling. It's coming up to her birthday and she wants a kid. Then we're straight into the next page and we've got gorilla doctors. We've got finally someone else normal to go along with our main character, a friend of hers, a kind of housemate. We have this cop that's been sneezing all the time throughout this issue, and suddenly he has kind of like a zombie face. There is so much going on. Oh, and yes, the kind of guy suddenly explodes and this big dragon, kind of Chinese dragon, comes out, breaks out the lion, the head of the lion gang, not before killing the rest of his gang off. It's too much! And of course the final page. This comic has doesn't seem to be letting up at all and takes the reader on a huge roller coaster of a ride. I just don't know if it's right or not. It was fun. The artwork by Del Duca is gorgeous, and between the two of them they certainly have one hell of imagination in bringing this crazy kind of animals, humans, universe together to make one big population. But oh, I'll still be getting it. It's still a lovely book, but slow down a little, guys. Slow down. And that's it, folks. That's me done. I'm almost out of breath after that last issue from Shutter, but I made it. Thank you all for watching and making it this far. If you're new to my channel and you liked what you saw and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Give me a big thumbs up and tell me what you thought of the video this week, what comics you were picking up. If you picked up any of mine that I picked up, in the comments section below. Go and check out Monday's video. There's still time to take part in my evolution of the question of the week video. Really looking forward to doing that on Monday, given all the recent participation in it. Loving it. Thank you all very much again. Until, I guess, Monday then. Have a great weekend. Enjoy comics. Goodbye.